So sorry, welcome back to Vibe with Pride. I'm showing you my little merch mug. Listen, today is a really exciting and different day for us here on Vibe with Pride because we've spent so much time chatting with different queer singers and artists and musicians, but we never really got to talk to DJs that work in the queer spaces, the people who create the soundtracks to our lives. You know, I have so many great memories of being out and about and being at a venue and being like, I don't dance, I don't move. And then you get the right DJ and all of a sudden little Papi Rodriguez is like, I can do this, I can do this. And so today we are honoring the people who work in our queer nightlife spaces, our DJs. And we're really thrilled to have 4 special DJs with us today, DJ K-Swift, DJ John Joseph, DJ Zareen, and DJ Taj. And they're joining me right now. Stick around. Hi.
Hey.
First of all, I just can't get over the fact that DJ John Joseph is just giving you full just avatar.
Oh God, I am, aren't I? Wait,
oh, there you are. You're a person now.
Sorry about that. I wasn't even paying attention.
I like the avatar better, actually.
Yeah.
You see my fan? That's all you see.
Very hunky in the avatar. Very hunky. Listen, I appreciate your time. I know you're all busy people, so thanks for spending a little time with us here on San Diego Pride's YouTube and Facebook channel. By the way, if you're not following either one of these pages, go ahead and click the follow button and, of course, subscribe on YouTube. Now, listen, I want to thank you all because, as I said earlier, sometimes as patrons of nightlife or any kind of club or anything or event, we go to a space and we know instantly if we like it or don't like it, oftentimes based on the music. And we handpicked the 4 of you because you've done such a great job of being leaders of music in San Diego and the surrounding areas, and all, I'm sure for many of you around the world. So I'm going to ask you some questions about not just your journey, but maybe some of the things that we probably need to know about how we can better support you, the people who are, you know, the guiders of our night musically. So thanks to all of you. I'm going to start with, let's start with DJ Zareen. Now, I'm going to go round robin, and I have a special one for you, DJ K-Swift, because I know you are an ally to the community, and that I really want to get into as well, working in queer spaces. But DJ Zareen, I guess I want to start with you. I was very interested. I was in San Diego this weekend, pre-recording some things that may air during the Pride weekends, because I will be broadcasting live. And I noticed that, or got brought to my attention at Baja Betty's, that there are only really 5 major girl bars in the country and sort of 21 total if you include smaller ones. And so it begs the question, why is there such a little representation for women's nights in queer spaces, and how can we change that?
Wow, that's a great question. You know, it's true, there's very few left, and I'm lucky enough to be at one of them here at Gossip Grill. And you know, I
think that's where I was, by the way. I think I said Baja Betty's. I was at the girl night somewhere. I can't remember where I was.
Oh, gotcha. Well, I mean, yeah, that's one of their sister restaurants. I think that it's, you know, the queer space, I think it caters a lot towards the gays a lot most of the time. So there's not a whole lot of events for, you know, lesbians or bisexual, transgender for them to go to. Hopefully, you know, that's going to be changing now. So I'm pretty excited. You know, it seems like there's been quite a new wave of beautiful people that have come out after COVID.
I got to tell you, it was so surreal for me as like an out queer man, but cisgender man, being in a space that was mostly, you know, women or female identifying people. And I just felt like wow, this must be what it would feel like to be a lesbian and a mostly guy bar. And although I had such great appreciation, I was also like very aware, like this is their space. I need to honor their space. And it was really beautiful. I did, honestly, I felt like instantly in that moment, like we need to do better and try to create more spaces. And also it seems like the amount of female DJs is kind of quite lower than the amount of gay male DJs that get booked at events. Is that true, or is that just me?
You know, since I started at a women's bar, I was lucky enough to be around, you know, mostly women DJs. But I did notice, you know, around, you know, downtown especially, it was very male dominated in general. So, you know, I'm very grateful that we have a community of women DJs and we all support each other. And it's growing too. There's new talent that's coming out as well. So, yeah, it's definitely changing for sure.
That's awesome. All right, so DJ John Joseph, good to see you. Welcome back. I love that you're moving and not just an avatar, as handsome as the avatar was. So listen, Pride is upon us. You know, I think for most people, they're watching this and they're like, wait a minute, Pride is over, right? The corporations have gone back to their regular non-rainbow, you know, logos. But for us in the San Diego Pride family, we celebrate in July. So I guess I just wanted to ask you, what does Pride mean to you? Because all of us who work in nightlife, we sort of have a different relationship with it. But if I can just go broader, what's Pride mean to you?
Pride for me is still kind of like a fight. We're still fighting for representation. And I think a lot of our nightlife events are that representation. We put a lot of energy into our Pride nightlife, getting all these big parties, the lavish parades, everything that involves the entertainment, us DJs and that stuff like that. We are still pushing out that fight, showing people that we can have a good time, celebrate being who we are, and showing the world like this is what we do and how we do it, and we do it in a very fun way, you know. So
I love it. Yeah, I'm gonna ask Taj, DJ Taj, the same question. What does Pride mean to you? And do you remember your first Pride?
Yeah, actually, well, to me, Pride, it's, you know, as John said, it's both a celebration and a protest. It's a celebration of how far we've come, and it's still also a fight and a protest of how much more we need to achieve. And there's still a lot more that we need to achieve. Especially, you know, I think a lot of people just kind of, once marriage equality was passed, they were like, yay, it's all over, we're done. But it's not done, you know, especially for the T and the LGBTQ plus community. They have it the hardest right now. And just because it doesn't affect us particularly, you know, I'm not part of that facet of the umbrella, doesn't mean that the fight is over for all of us. You know, yeah, it's all of the fight, and we all have to fight together. But yeah,
so the first Pride memory, did something naughty happen? Tell me all the tea. No one's. It's
well, first Pride memory or first Pride. First Pride.
Let's say first Pride.
My first Pride was San Diego. I moved from Ohio, where Ohio barely had a Pride. It was literally like in the parking lot of the one gay bar. That's it. And it was still like I moved here in 92. So no, 92, 94. And San Diego was my first Pride. And it was both exciting and very intimidating at the same time. It was just so huge and culture shock to me that I just have all, you know, like a lot of different, I guess, emotions towards it. Like it was exciting and a great thing to be a part of, but I was also very timid and scared and nervous coming from, you know, Cincinnati, Ohio, where it was still kind of shameful to be gay and to be out back then, you know. So it was kind of like, I don't know, it was kind of a dual thing for me, you know. It was overwhelming, I would say, but fun.
Yeah, but super fun. Now, DJ K Swift, you're an ally to the community, but you play in a lot of queer spaces. So I'm curious to know, what is it like to be straight in the LGBTQ plus spaces? What's your experience of that been like?
You know, first and foremost, I just want to say thank you for having me on this live stream. This is, you know, awesome. And for you to even consider someone like me, you know, to be a huge part of the DJ community, I mean, it's much appreciated. As for your question, in all honesty, when I first came on board, really, I think around 2013 or 14, I was playing at Bourbon Street before it became Park and Rec, and I was playing there, playing at Soiree for a ladies' night. You know what I mean? I was invited to play there. Some people had heard me, and they were like, "Yo, we'd love to have him come play." So it kind of just tumbled from there. Just kept going further and further. So I started hanging out more in Hillcrest. I had a lot of LGBTQ plus T plus friends that were like always inviting me out, telling me, "Yo, come out, check out the party." I'm like, "Yeah, definitely." But I was always busy working downtown or working somewhere else. And finally was able to come out, and I was, wow, man, it's just so much different here. I can't wait to play here. Hopefully I can get in. Yeah. So, I mean, I was blessed. There's so many thank yous I'm going to give later on to, I'll tell you who later on. But I mean, it's been an amazing opportunity. It's been an amazing ride. I wouldn't change it for the world. I stand tall with my community. I stand in front to help support and protect the people that, have been struggling and fighting with this for years. This is like, it's deeper than just it's tough to be gay and stuff like that. No, you got to really dig and understand and find out and talk to these people and just find out what's going on with them. And I know a lot of them personally, I hang out with them openly. Just they're my people. I don't see anything like that. I see people. I don't see color. I don't see gender. I don't see anything. I just see people, and that's all I'm about. And I let you party rock all day to my stuff. So, and I've been blessed to play on stages for 10,000 people, on the Pride stages. So I'm just super honored to be here, and super honored to be with these DJs here as well too. John Joseph, Taj, and Zareen. I mean, I've known for a long time. These are people that we interact with all the time. We meet each other and we see each other doing passing. So it's pretty cool, man.
Well, we're thrilled to have you. And so also, do you have a first Pride? Like, do you remember the first time that you were around or at a Pride event? Because sometimes it's a little different than just being, in a queer space.
So my first Pride event that I went to, I believe, was in 2006. Yeah, 2006. I went with a friend of mine. So, and at the time I was a little like, okay, so I've never been to something so big. You know what I mean? This is really, really huge. But he was like, yo, everyone's going to be there. Everyone's coming out. And I had some other people come with me too. And I've watched throughout the years just evolve. And I'm like, man, dude, this is just amazing. From the parade all the way down, just people marching. Like, I actually marched down. That's like a huge, like, long, big walk. And then the party, I don't even think the festival was as big at that time. It was big, but it wasn't as big. But cause right now it's a movie right now. When you go to the the festival right now, it's a full blown production. You know what I mean? But I'm telling you right now, I had a blast. I was like, man, this is crazy just to see people happy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but the struggle was different then, because it was still more taboo. You know what I mean? Because, there's still a lot of people, picketers and, whatever, and go back to, I seen some really mean things that I was ashamed of. I was like, damn.
I'm surprised though, because I think that every Pride that I've gone to, they're always there, and there's usually like 5 or 6 protesters. I always wonder how straight allies feel in that moment, because, to the earlier point when the White House was lit up in rainbow, years ago during the Obama administration, we got marriage equality. When that still happened and I brought straight friends to Pride to the parade, they were really surprised. And I was like, no, they've always been there.
Yeah, it's not, I'm not so much surprised. I'm just disappointed. You know what I mean? Like, there's no reason for you to really, I mean, you can have an opinion, you can start casting spells all you want to do with your signs and everything. But seriously, like, if you're going to stand up with a sign and protest, do what you got to do. But when you start calling people names and you start saying foul stuff, that's when I get pissed off. And that's when the ally comes out, and that's when the frontline Marine comes out and has to check them. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, I've heard it before. I've seen people just protest and do their thing. That's fine. I'm not against that. I mean, you're entitled to do that. But when you start saying some foul stuff, some of these people are my friends. You know what I mean? So
yeah, it's time to go. A lot of people are reflecting on and sharing their stories of coming out. And so if you're comfortable, DJ Zareen, what was coming out like for you? Do you have I feel like mine was like, I trickled into it till I was finally kicked out of the closet. But I was just wondering what your journey might have been like for coming out.
Yeah, I would say it wasn't something that just happened overnight. It definitely was a process that I'm still going through today. Just because my family grew up in a different time with, their own values, so they say. So I mean, they're slowly becoming more and more accepting. You know, I chopped off all my hair off about a few years ago, and that was a big change for her.
Looks great.
But yeah, I mean, it feels great to, you know, be standing in my authentic self and, you know, not trying to be somebody I'm not. So it's something that I'm still working through every day, but it's definitely gotten much better over the years.
I love that. And what about you, DJ John Joseph?
Oh, coming out was really easy. I told my mom, and she said she'd known since she was 5.
She was like, yeah.
She's like, I knew since you were 5. Let's go to lunch, and that was pretty much it. So.
Oh my God, I love it. How about you, DJ Taj?
Oh, for me, it was a process. I did the whole "I think I'm bisexual" thing, and I told all my friends, like, in my senior year. I waited till like the very end of senior year to start strategically telling certain people that I knew would kind of spread it, so I didn't have to do the work myself. And it's kind of like, and honestly, at that time, I thought I was bisexual. I thought it was just a phase for a while. I don't know. Very delusional about it, but the more comfortable and the more support I got, actually, I never had a bad experience at all. Like coming out, like not one person turned their back on me at all. Like I thought in my mind, that's what I thought was going to happen, especially in Ohio. Everybody was super supportive, and some people were like, "Yeah, we kind of already knew," and so it was just kind of the more comfortable I got, the more I was like, "Yeah, I'm not bisexual. I'm fucking gay."
Well, yeah, listen, I still find myself, struggling with that. I feel very bisexual. If you buy me something, I'm probably going to get sexual. But I
agree.
I'm just kidding. I know that we've come such a long way as a community and musically, and I know there was some conversations I heard people saying, like, why do we even need Pride? Why do we need these spaces? And I think this year, when people were in the at home and perhaps even kids living in families that weren't very accepting of who they fully are, they had a really tricky time in a year. And if I think back to how the queer spaces started, it was really as a safe space. And so I guess let's go round robin. DJ Case, I'll start with you. I feel like for me, there's a sense of, I would say, we had this joke in New York, like there was this one club where the DJ would spin and you just felt like so blessed. It was like a day party and you just left like, wow, we called it church. So I guess I wonder if you've ever had that experience where you felt like, you weren't just at work, but your music became sort of a blessing to people that were having a hard day or a way for them to connect.
Yeah, that's a great question. Every time I play, I know people have come into the club with something like good or something rough or something bad or something. They're just trying to escape. That's why we go out and entertain ourselves for an hour. For me, people that come up to me and just tell me that you made my night or thanks for playing that song. I've seen people look like they had an outer body experience, especially when I play like dance music. You know what I mean? Like, I'm really known from like my hip hops because I come from like hip hop and I'm like a turntablist, so I'm from that. But people don't really know my electronic side of music, like what I produce and how I make music, my mashups and stuff like that. They don't know that, but when they do hear it, they're like, man, dude, I've never heard that track before or never heard anything like that. They'll come up and just talk about it. Sometimes it's fortunate because I'm still DJing, so they're trying to have a conversation while I'm DJing. I'm like, we can talk about this later after I'm done. But I do appreciate you telling me that. But yes, to me, ultimately, it's never been about money for me. It's always been about being able to change just that moment. You know what I mean? I'm rocking my set and I'm reading a crowd. So I'm vibing with someone. I catch someone and I see it and I see him grooving, and then I'll see another start adding to it, and then they'll start rocking. For me, it is a job, but at the same time, it's definitely right. It's definitely a really good, easy job when you are having a good time, and that's what I think I've been blessed with. I've watched all the DJs that are in this forum right now turn up. I've seen us all be like just chilling real quick, and then 30 minutes later, their live is lit. Like everyone's just jumping around. So yes, it's definitely something that I appreciate more than anything. I love seeing that I changed someone's day, despite what they may be going through. I just feel like for me, when they come and say, "Yo, man, thank you so much," I don't need a tip from them. I don't need anything. When they say that, I'm good with it. So
I love that. Well,
me.
you kind of touched on it, and I want to go around again to kind of touch into something that I think is really funny. But DJ Zareen, what is some of the things that people do that is like so annoying, so we can never do it? I want this to be a lesson that we can't do this again. I have a friend who's like, usually people will try to put their drinks near the DJ, or like constantly asking for the same song. Like, what is the thing that's like your pet peeve?
It would be definitely the requests when you're in the middle of mixing and they're very persistent and drunk. And they'll have a drink in their hand and they're wobbling around your equipment, and then you're getting really nervous they're going to drop it. So it's just, I would say that is probably the biggest pet peeve.
That's a good one. How about you, DJ John Joseph? What's the thing that we could stop doing as audience members?
People like to get in the DJ booth and hang out, pretend like they know us.
Yes.
I don't like that very much.
Can we just get a selfie real quick? I just want to get a selfie with you.
Yeah, that. Or, can my friend dance up here? I'm like, no.
Okay, how about you, DJ Taj? What's one of the most annoying things that happen that we can stop doing today?
I'm going to second Zareen and say the very aggressive requesters, the ones that like you say, they make a request and they feel like you were obligated to play it, even though it's country music and we're playing like a house set. And then they feel like they're owed an explanation as to why you can't play it. And you're just trying to get your next song set up. You're trying to mix your next song in, and then they demand to know why. Why can't you play Garth Brooks right now?
Yeah.
I need to understand this. I need to know. And it's like, and it gets very like heated, and I think that's the one biggest pet peeve that I have.
I love that. I kind of have like a little selfish question, but I'm really curious about knowing. I'll start with you, DJ K Swift. Okay, I'm going to phrase this the best way I can. Do you think, and I know you're all very modest people, but do you think, I always feel like DJs get an extra layer of sexy because they're the DJ. So do you get people hitting on you and you have to be like, you just hitting on me because I'm the DJ? Like, do you get extra love for being a DJ? Because I think DJs are all hot. I'm always like, oh my God, you're making me dance. Yes.
You know what? That's funny. Someone just asked me that a couple days ago. That's funny you're asking me that. Yeah, I get hit on all the time. I get hit on by both genders. I get hit on by men and women, and I embrace both because, to me, if I can a male and a female and anything in between, then that means I'm doing something right. So the sexy part, though, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that necessarily means that just because we're behind the ones and twos, and like I said, that's probably their out of body experience because they feel we're making them move. We're making that thing come out of them. So it's like, oh my God, where's the source? So yes, sometimes DJs, and I'm not going to speak for everyone, but I'll speak for a lot of them during that set. You know what I'm saying? So it's because you watch them like just turn out, they be normal, and then you just watch them, their hands go to you, they start praising you, and and then yes, they hit on you once again throughout your set. Like, so what are you doing later? I'm like, wait, dude, I'm still DJing. Like, chill. You know what I mean?
Yeah, DJ Zareen, are the ladies slipping you numbers? What's the tea there?
Yeah, that's happened a couple times. They've asked me if I had a girlfriend while I was DJing, and they'll find ways. Just like sometimes they'll get my attention just to give me a compliment, and I think I see what they're trying to do. But I DJ'd Carl's Nights not too long ago, and I definitely noticed that
right.
It must be you when you were there. It was definitely like very noticeable that night. So sometimes maybe when you're in a good mood and you're really killing it, some people will notice it.
All right, DJ John Joseph, I'm going to ask you the same question, but I'm going to layer it with, and have you ever met anyone special from that?
Special? I mean, being in the DJ booth, yes, gives you an extra layer of pretty, and people love it, and they think that you're like, but people find me really intimidating. A lot of people will talk to me very like shy, and that's really interesting too. I think that's weird to me, but have met, yes, I've met several people from the DJing, and yeah, we'll just say yeah.
That's it. That's all we're gonna get. Okay.
I mean, yeah, there's gushy
His tea
details,
is already cold.
DJ Taj, are you the Casanova behind the 1 and 2s? Like, do you get them? Have you met anyone? Maybe not special, but maybe you did. Maybe you met like someone you dated for a long time while working.
I mean, that's happened for sure, but I feel like I don't have the same experience as these people do because I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Actually, I know what I'm doing wrong. I have resting bitching. Where's it? Rest RBF. When I'm working, when I'm focused, I'm like. So I
that's wrong with me, but I like that face. Probably something wrong with me.
What is RBF, right? That's what it's called?
Yeah, sure.
So I feel like I'm even more intimidating because I just look angry when I'm DJing. And, you know, and then with those requesters, I'm probably usually angry too. So I think people just are like, whoa, like, don't approach him.
So everything's changed during COVID, and I'm sure many of you had to give up gigs, and everything was really slow, and a lot of the festival stuff went away. The circuit kind of vibe went away. I mean, how do you see things, and this is for anyone, feel free to jump in, how do you see things coming back as we start to come back, and what are you looking forward to most sort of post-COVID?
I think the live streaming is something. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, John.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead. You jumped in first.
No,
fine,
please.
I'll go. I feel like I honestly feel like so far, like people are balls to the wall, like just super excited to be out. Like I feel like it's Pride weekend every weekend, to be honest.
Yeah.
So the immediate effect right now is people are out in full force. Like actually right before COVID, I feel like the club scene started to dwindle a little bit. And now we're seeing like a resurgence like none other. That's right now. As for the future, I'm not sure what's going to happen.
Got it. What were you going to say, DJ Zareen? What were you going to say?
Oh, I was saying that, you know, since live streaming became such a big thing, I think that's something that's definitely going to continue for just, but I like Taj's answer better.
It's the raging 20s.
That's right. DJ John Joseph, is that the same experience for you?
Yes, and I'm experiencing it in full force to the point where I don't have enough time to DJ all these events that I've been asked to work, and there's a shortage of DJs, and I hire a lot of them actually in San Diego for a lot of events and clubs right now, and there's just a shortage of DJs. It's really interesting.
Yeah, literally all of us are literally on that. Like all of us, like to add to his, like it's I've been stretched out too. You know, I've been DJing back for a little bit, like before we really opened up, and it's been quite overwhelming. The COVID impact on just the year itself was one thing, and then to try to adapt and make sure that I can still come back. Like, am I still going to be relevant? Like when I come back, are these new kids going to come in? Like these bedroom DJs that have been streaming all this? Because I mean, don't get me wrong, there's so many dope DJs out there. You know what I mean? But do they have what it takes to come out and play for a crowd? Yeah, you can stream on a crowd. Can you read a crowd? Because you can't read a computer. You can answer a computer, but can you read a crowd? Let's see. I mean, they're the future. Like I'm getting older, and I'm not going to DJ when I'm 100. I mean, hopefully I don't make it to 100, but I'm just saying, like, you know, ultimately I'm all about the future, our next generation of DJs, but I hope they come out and really bring what they've been doing online, because I've enjoyed a lot of streams from a lot of DJs. And I didn't know half these people were DJs. Like, oh man, that's dope. Hopefully they come out.
Exactly. Talk about a pivot. People became DJs or got an OnlyFans. All right. So,
right.
I want to talk about maybe they're DJs.
Can I plug my OnlyFans? I'm just playing.
That's right. I want to talk about queer representation in music. You know, we've seen such an increase. We've even interviewed people here on Vibe with Pride, people like Jordy and stuff, where we had a chat with them, and then 2 months later, they're on the Today Show. Their songs include language singing about the same gender. And when I was coming up, that was just non-existent. I mean, there just wasn't that kind of representation. And so as DJs, I mean, is that interesting for you to hear when you're playing queer spaces and there's queer affirming music, you know, from Lil Nas X and so many others, you know, that are actually singing about same-sex relationships?
I think it's amazing. I find it one of the most like attractive things about music right now is the fact that that is something happening, and it's completely wonderful, and it gives a lot of hope for me because if you would have asked me a couple of years ago, when I mean I know Todrick Hall and I've been friends with him, and I'm like he's never gonna make it big because he's too gay, but now I'm looking at him and go, wow, it's been more and more accepting. This is a true story. I think I've talked to Taj about this because it's a true story, and it's like, and now he's been more accepting, and now he's just blowing up everywhere. Everyone knows his music.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely had moments when I was in the early 2000s, Queer Eye. There was a lot of other people around me that I thought weren't going to be successful, and that was my inner homophobia coming out and being like, ooh, they're too queeny, they better get that. Because that was the messaging I was receiving from queer peers and also straight folks. And the people around me at that time who were the most authentic and living their fearless queer life, whether it was the voice or the swish in their walk, which, you know, we all love and I have, they were less fearful and they've had just great careers. So I love to see the people who really stuck it through, like you mentioned, Todrick and so many others. It's inspirational. And speaking of inspiration, I want to go round robin on this one. DJ Taj, what was your music? Who were some of your music, you know, your biggest music inspirations, sort of maybe in life or when you were younger?
George Michael was probably one of my biggest influences. And although he wasn't out back then, you know, we kind of all knew. And he was in his own way kind of trying to put the message out there without blatantly saying it, you know. So but he was always one of my biggest. His album Listen Without Prejudice I still listen to, and is still a huge influence on myself musically and as an artist just in general. But does Madonna count?
Sure, yes, of course.
Because she's also up there, number one.
What about you, DJ K Swift? Biggest music inspirations?
Music inspirations for me, like I'm a huge Doors fan. I love the Doors. I mean, literally, I love the Doors. Big Morrison fan from that era. I love the Beatles back in the day. And then when we got into the 80s, I was like I was a Michael Jackson fan, just like Taj was. Jackson 5 fan, rolling over into that. But when I started DJing, I think what got me really into music, like, 'cause I always loved hip hop music, was DJ Jazzy Jeff. You know what I mean? That's the reason why I started to become a DJ, because just watching him, like, I was like, yo, man, this dude's an actor, but I remember he's just a DJ before, but now he's acting. Maybe I could do that one day, you know what I mean? And I've watched him perform so many times, but there's so many artists that are out there that inspire me. I think all music is an expression. I do listen to some country music, so, you know what I mean? I won't necessarily play it on a hip hop night, but I mean,
unless it's a Lil Nas X song with Billy Ray, I guess that could kind of sneak in. Maybe the end.
That's what made it country. That's what, when they added Billy Ray Cyrus, that's what made the song country. But when they didn't have it, that was a controversy back then. So when Billy Ray Cyrus stepped in and said, well, okay, well, let me step on the track then. So now is it country enough for you? That's like to add to what you were saying earlier. Like, what's super gay? And so you're being super gay about it. You're super queer about it. I mean, that's weird to say. You're being super straight about it then. You know what I mean? This is a different world. Like, let's be clear. Like, we're in a different time now, man. We're in the age of the switch and the electron now. This is like we're all talking to each other on a screen, which we could have done 20 years ago.
Right. Agreed. I mean, you know, I'm gonna ask DJ Zareen, you know, what with this increase in like representation within the community, how do you think that will impact music? I think music, to me, I think sometimes speaks to people in a way that words simply can't. But I feel like it's amazing to see so many queer artists or people coming out this year who you're probably spinning. And I just wonder, as a DJ, when you're playing a queer artist, if it hits different.
Yes, I mean, you know, now that we're seeing a lot more of it, I mean, definitely, I think it's great because it inspires other people as well to, you know, step up and you know, do that as well, which is great. And you know, Snow the Product is someone I love playing, you know, on a hip hop night, you know, as a queer artist and a strong female, you know.
We've had her here on San Diego Pride. We've had her at San Diego Pride before. She's great. Yeah. So I love to try to highlight, you know, talent, you know, local talent and females, queer, you know, so it's been pretty great. Hey, just as another question for Taj and John, what albums or songs, or what was your musical soundtrack during the pandemic? Were there specific ones that really got you through?
Dua Lipa, Future Nostalgia.
Got it. Yeah, that's
That's
a
She held it down during COVID. She held it down. She gave us the live stream concert, which nobody else did, or at least she was the first to do it. And it was like
true.
she was just kept releasing song after song after video after video. She was my COVID diva.
Love it. John, what do you think?
Oh, I'm like the worst at this because I am a very eclectic music type. I listened to a bunch of hardstyle tracks during the shutdown. None of it applies to anybody but me and a select group of people from Amsterdam, probably.
I love that. Hey, so, prides are all about the anthems. We hear so many incredible anthems. So, there's so many incredible singers who that is just their ministry, is these big kind of empowering anthems or otherwise. So, let's stay with you, DJ John Joseph. What's your favorite anthem?
There's an anthem called, right now it's called Free. I forget who sings it though, but it's a very big, powerful, new gay anthem. It just came out, and I just started playing it, and people just go off when I play it. So
I love it. I love it. By the way, if you're watching this live stream right now, we're gonna have time for some questions. So as our DJs start talking and maybe something comes to mind, you can feel free to start inserting those questions right now in the comment section on your screen. So how about you, DJ Zareen? What's your favorite anthem? Could be queer anthem or just something that you're like, oh, yeah.
I mean, when I hear Whitney Houston, that screams it for me. One second.
I was feeling it. You said Whitney Houston, and the ghost of Whitney came back and was like, yeah.
My iTunes, just really wanted to play a song. But so I guess I think Whitney Houston is definitely something that reminds me of Pride. So it would have to be that.
Love it, love it, love it. What about you, DJ K Swift? Favorite anthem?
Favorite anthem probably right now is, I got probably two, but I still play this song. I still play Icona Pop. I love it. I think that that was a really big, strong, kiss my ass, everyone, if you don't like me, you know what I mean? That's not necessarily just for, queer anthem. It's like an everyone anthem, but that really, really, resonated with the community for sure, especially when I put it on stage. Everyone went off on it.
So, I feel like you all have your pulse on the music scene far better than I do, but is there an artist that you would recommend? I'll keep with you, DJ K Swift, who you think people should be more aware of, be on the lookout for, maybe not quite hitting yet, or maybe they're just starting to? Okay, so on the hip hop side, I'm gonna ride with Zareen. I know the product. Claudia's an amazing girl. She's a star. I play her music throughout the clubs, and some people know who she is, and others kind of are catching on. But I think she really had the opportunity to blow up, at least for the hip hop side, because she sings and she raps in Spanish and English, and I speak Spanish fluently too. So when she spits like ready to cut your head off. So I think she's the one to watch out for right now if she can really break through. Yeah. I love that. Yeah, I speak Spanish like J-Lo before Mark Anthony, so it's just very muddy. I will say, I'm going to go with that one. Yeah, Taj, what about you? What is same question? Who should I be looking out for?
That's a really tough question. Actually, I've been following this girl on Instagram. Her name is Montana Tucker.
I love Montana.
I
did a music video thing with her. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, she's a badass dancer. That's what I started following her for. But now she has a single out called "Be Myself," and it's actually a pride anthem. And
she's with Todrick right now. She's got a duet as well with Todrick Hall on his new album.
Oh, awesome, cool. Yeah, he's also on that single "Be Myself."
That's probably it.
So yeah, I've just been watching her. I don't know where she's gonna go, but she's interesting to watch. She's a badass dancer. I love that she's, her first single is geared towards the gay community. I'm in it. I'm watching.
Yeah, I love it. John Joseph, who should I be looking out for in music right now?
Oh God, I'm the worst at this question.
Are
Taj,
you?
help me. Taj. I always call Taj and go, Taj, who's next new artist right now for me to be like.
I mean, I guess we could say Todrick Hall has a new album out. In case you don't know who that is and you're watching this, catch up on it. It's really great. I think it's his most bold album. I mean, he kind of really leans into his sexuality in a way that I don't think we've seen him do before, which I was really proud of because I know we grew up in a generation. I'm a couple years older than him, but that was very much like play it all down, and that's absolutely not what
Todrick's strong. Todrick's strong. I will agree with that. He's
Yeah.
I watched him grow too as well, but he's got a platform.
Yeah.
That's why I said Claudia, I said Snow the Product, because she's really underground. But Zareen and I know, like a lot of us know about her. You know her too, Jade, and that she's a monster, man. So she's scary. You know what I'm saying?
100%. You know, I was wondering, we kind of lightly talked about it, but I had to like pivot so hard this year for being someone that performs in live spaces with live audiences. I'm going to step my virtual game up. I got an HD camera and all these cables and stuff around me right now to broadcast with y'all. But how did y'all, what did you do during the pandemic? How did you, and also were any of you as panicked as I was about like getting the gigs again?
Yeah, absolutely. I did just what you did. I dove into live streaming. Like I knew nothing about it before. I ended up like learning about green screening and special effects, and like I went full on. Like I went full force with it. So that's kind of what I did. That was like my COVID hobby, and it gave me it kept my sanity during it. You know, it made me feel like there was another way to reach people. You know, because that's what I want to do more than anything, is to reach people through music. So
right,
that's what I do.
Amazing. John Joseph, I think you outside of the OnlyFans, what else did you do?
Actually,
which didn't take off very well.
It was awful.
He's giving out negative free subscriptions.
Take this money and don't go
after the
it.
failure of your OnlyFans.
Actually, I did with Ashley with Taj put a lot of energy into live streaming. He and I sat down like timeless nights and days trying to figure out like the best way to do it, because live streaming with music was a tad tricky, and then also having us to get on like multiple like spaces and figuring that out at the same time, and how we seem more, and then also we're like the last ones to get any kind of like benefits from the government, so we're just living off of tips. So we're like, please give us your money. So we definitely lived off those Venmo tips.
That was I started going live every single day on Facebook and Instagram, and a big shout out to the Jaybirds, folks who've been wanted, so they call themselves, and I love it. But we literally, by the way, you can right now do what my support has been doing all year to help me stay afloat by supporting virtually. Right now, we've inserted all the Venmo of all Venmo and Cash App for all our incredible DJs here. If you got a little something, you back at work, you do for it and doing it, throw something in and show some love. I did the same thing, and I have to tell you, one of the biggest pieces for me was getting over my own pride. That, you know, as a gig worker, as someone who appears on TV here and there, it's not all the time. And so how I make my way is in nightlife and doing cabaret shows, and all of which was gone. And I had to figure out, just like you, how to make it still effective, interesting, and exciting for the viewer. And then also just like be like, but if you got it, throw it in the virtual tip,
right?
You know. And but I will say, I learned a lot about myself and what I'm capable of. A lot of the skills I didn't think I had to learn. And so I'm wondering, and it doesn't have to do with your work part, but is there anything that you learned about yourself? Like DJ K-Swift, did you learn how to bake banana bread? Like what happened?
Yeah, so you know, I've been fortunate. I mean, I still do another thing. I also work on cars as well too. That's my thing. I'm in the 12-volt industry. I've been doing it like for almost all my life. You know, DJing has always been there for me. So we're considered essential. So my pivot really wasn't as extreme as some of my other peers, but I did pick up other few things because I was able to take some time off and I wasn't working at nights. So yeah, I mean, you're right. Did I learn? I mean, I already knew how to make banana bread, but just saying. I mean, I did learn a few things. The live streaming portion, you know, I'll make it real quick. The live streaming portion, I was streaming too because I'm part of a team. I'm signed with a team. Technique is my team that I'm with. Like we're performing tonight at the Rail You know, and all of us were putting stuff together. We were trying to do the best we could with what we had, just like Taj, just like JJ was, Zareen. We're all, you know, even like the rest of the team, all the DJs that were trying. It was real. So luckily for us, we picked it up fast because that's what we do. We adapt and we overcome, and that's exactly what we did. And that's why we're here today, being able to DJ again. So you know what I mean? You know what I mean? So.
You know, a lot of people are probably watching this now and thinking, "Oh my gosh, I wasn't even aware, or I hadn't even thought about people in the nightlife and or you know, DJs and stuff." So I guess what can people do to support? Obviously, we've got your Venmos and your Cash Apps up, but people, how can they best support gig workers in this time? And I think, you know, we're softly reemerging. It's competitive to get the gigs. I get that, but I'm sure a lot of people want to know how they can help.
Well, real quick, I just want to answer this girl Janelle McCrea's question. She asked about, to all of us, what was our favorite older turn up song. So I see that it's kind of cool that came up because I was wondering if you're gonna ask us that.
Yeah,
Janelle, to answer your question, my favorite old school turn up song is definitely gonna be Montel Jordan. This is how we do it, because I mean, that's
a good song.
That's it. This is, I mean, as soon as that drops, everyone is like, I see people that are in their 60s turning out.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
so.
Listen, that is one of my favorite go-to songs. This is how we do it. All right,
there it is.
What? That microphone. I need to get one of those.
Yes, and hi Janelle. That's one of my. She's one of the Jaybirds. Love her. You know, so let's talk about that though. Like, you know, what can people help support people who are just getting back? Because even though the gigs are popping up, it's like also kind of hard to get them. And so, how can people help?
I think go ahead, Taj. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, show up to the gigs. I mean, that's a huge way to support, is to show up to your favorite DJ's gigs. You know, the more, you know, people we have at our gigs, the more likely we're gonna get hired again.
Yeah,
you know, and you know what? Tipping doesn't have to just be on Venmo.
Listen, agreed.
Green is still lean. As long as it's COVID free, we're good. I'm just playing that.
I love that. I love that.
To add to Tosh, not just show up to the events, but actually, like, you know, if you want to come to my event and I put something on your page and host you, like, host my stuff too. You know what I mean? Like flyers and
share it on social.
I mean, that's what it's all about. Networking or maintaining a rapport and establishing rapport is the key.
All right. I love that. And so Taj, John, and DJ Zareen, all three of you DJs, did y'all learn any new tricks during the pandemic? And if so, what were they?
Do you need a green screen? Do you need snow?
Wait a minute. I bought one and I never figured out how to use it. So it's sitting under the bed.
So I got the privilege of
fire come out of your nose. Like,
oh my God, I love it. I got the privilege of actually remodeling a house in quarantine. So I am YouTube certified. I can remodel a house. Everything from the insulation, the drywall. We did the flooring. I put in hardwood floors. I mean, I got you. I'm ready.
Wow. Okay.
Joseph.
Moment.
Like, it was like a 3-month project. It was a lot of work.
I love it. DJ Zareen, did you have any new things that you learned during the pandemic?
Let's see. I definitely put a lot of time into my turntables. It was kind of meditative for me. So I took a lot of time to, you know, watch different videos, try to learn different techniques. It's a lot of repetition. So that kind of kept me busy,
sure.
You know, and just organizing my library and, you know, doing things that I put off for a while, like my website and whatnot.
I love it. I love it. You know, by the way, again, don't feel shy. Keep those questions coming in. We got someone in the comment section said push more buttons. DJ K-Swift, do you take requests?
To answer your question, yes, I do take requests. As long see this is such a gray area because I don't want to be
Garth Brooks, right? And Garth Brooks only.
Yeah. So when you come with a request, like it's got to be like in the right. You know what I mean? Like I said earlier. If I'm playing music and you're asking for Garth Brooks, that's not gonna work. And I'm gonna sound like kind of like a douche. And I'm like, no, that's that. But if you come with something, of course I'll accept requests as long as it makes sense. You know what I mean? And I will get it in. Don't expect me to play it that moment, but I will get it.
K-Swift, I have a request.
Yes.
This is how you get requested.
So the $100, I will go ahead and kill everything and play Garfield and bring everything back. So yes, to answer your question, push more buttons. Yes, I do take a request.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask y'all in a minute just about where we can find you, where we can see you next. But I got really into binge watching TV shows, and some of them were really bizarre. Like I started getting into a show I never thought was for me, which was 90 Day Fiance, because I couldn't date nobody in quarantine. I was like, it's not my fault. They are literally in El Salvador right now, and we are just separated by being in different countries. And I related to the show, so I'm wondering, did y'all get into some new TV during quarantine or?
Yes, I did.
I mean, I watched all of Netflix, like the entire thing. So does that count?
DJ Zareen, were you into it? What was your vibe with the entertainment on the telly?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah, what were you? Did you get any new shows, or were you binging like weird things during the pandemic?
Yeah, but I can't remember.
But I got really into YouTube videos too. I probably saw John Joseph start a house.
Probably.
WandaVision. I was obsessed with WandaVision.
WandaVision was great.
WandaVision I got into as well a little bit. I was a little confused at first, but I kind of got into it. So,
but then it literally kind of would get me. And I don't know if this is an emotional roller coaster worth mentioning, but I would binge at first, and then I would save the last two and savor them, and then be just so bummed when it was over. It was like a breakup.
I know people that refuse to watch the last episode. The last episode of a series because they don't want it to end, and I think that's like so weird.
Yeah, I don't think went that far, but yeah, I get it. All right, so let's go round robin. DJ Taj, where can people find you, and what do you have coming up?
You can find me at a couple places: Urban Mo's, Riches, Flicks. God, I hope I'm not forgetting anything right now. This is San Diego. I'm also in.
You have your socials at the bottom of the screen right now. They're scrolling, so people can follow there.
Cool. Yeah, perfect. So Mo's, Riches, Flicks. I'm starting a new gig at Air Conditioner Lounge every second Saturday. I also do Hunters in Palm Springs a lot. Man, if I forgot something, I'm gonna kill myself later.
We can find it on your social media, your Instagram, your Twitter, and your Facebook, all attached below. DJ John Joseph, what you got coming for us?
I'm now back to full travel, so I'm in LA at this weekend at Mickey's again. I'm reopening Mickey's. I'm doing.
You are? I mean, I'll try to see you if I can get in. There'll be a long ass line, but
I'll be there Friday night. I'm at Hunters a lot in Palm Springs, and then in San Diego, of course, Flicks and Riches. If I can, occasionally Mo's, if I pop in there. And then I'm back in Vegas again, starting in 2 weeks. So
awesome.
Number 1 Fifth Avenue. Number 1 Fifth Avenue.
That's what you forgot.
There's the other one. DJ Swift, where are you at? Where can people come support?
So I'm at Riches. I'm at Riches on Saturdays. Flicks every Sunday for the pit stop. All the Voltage events on Saturdays. The Pride events, I'm with JJ. Like, we got all kinds of stuff going on. I'm also in Vegas, back in Vegas. That's why I just got back in Vegas. Lock some deals out down there. I can't really speak on it yet, but you can see it. You'll see my socials. They'll be lit up with that. Also working some other private events too, as well, some corporate events, but mainly Riches and Flicks right now in the community.
Yeah.
So I think tonight I'll be at the Rail. So I used to be at the Rail. I was a Sábado Sin Fuego DJ for a long time. I was there for almost 4 years with DJ Ka and also XP. So
I don't think I've ever been to the Rail. I don't know why no one has ever suggested the Rail, but I feel like I'm missing out.
Latin Night, when it was popping, Latin Night was probably one of the best ones in the city.
Well, listen, Latin Night, every night I go somewhere. So,
okay.
All right, DJ Zareen, where can people find you and what you got coming up?
So you can find my Instagram at DJ Zareen. And this weekend, I'll be at Gossip on Friday, Flick Saturday night, and then Sunday we have Queer Girl at Riches and Woman Up at Gossip. And then during Pride, I should be around those same places and the Rail and Number One.
I love that. You all have named so many different venues. Some I know really well and some I've never been to yet, but I was gonna ask this question, but I'm realizing you probably can't answer because it's like picking your favorite kid. But I was gonna say, where's your favorite place to spin? But I don't think you're allowed to say because they're all your favorites.
Yeah,
They
everything's
I
my
love
favorite.
them all. Yeah.
As long as the paycheck is still there, it's my favorite.
That's my favorite.
All right. Big thank you to DJ Taj, DJ John Joseph, DJ K-Swift, and of course DJ Zareen. We appreciate you so much for taking the time out to share your journeys with us. You heard them. Go make sure you support their live events. Of course, if you got a little something, throw them a little Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, and if you want to hear that song, maybe follow it up with a little green. It's just our way we show our appreciation and our love who give us the soundtracks of our lives. I'm your host, Jay Rodriguez. If you want one of these Vibe with Pride mugs, the link is in my Instagram bio. Just a handful left. And go to Instagram, just in my bio. I'm at JAI Rodriguez. Till then, no matter how you vibe, make sure you vibe with pride. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Thanks, guys.
All right.